Hey guys, Lucas here, and today we're in a place that's commonly known as the Venice of Japan. But not really. I mean, I don't know anyone who calls it this place, but that is apparently the nickname. And what it is this is the Dotonbori River running through Namba, which is a cool nightlife spot here in Osaka. I'd say the only thing it has in common with Venice is they both have a canal with water, and that's about it. But yeah, it's a cool nightlife spot, lots of lights and stuff going on, restaurants, little hidden back alleys. We're gonna check out a cool little hidden temple, and I'm gonna shoot it with my trusty RICOH GR3. So of course, if you like the video, hit the like button, subscribe to the channel, and if you have any questions or comments, leave them below, and I will do my best to, get back to them, answer your questions as best as I can. So let's get to shooting. So since we're here, we might as well get some shots of the river. I could slow down my shutter here quite a bit to get more of this like smooth water effect a little bit. All right, got a couple shots of the river, but let's explore the area. Let's go to the little back streets, back alleys, see what we can find around here. Just put my settings back. Okay, let's go this way. So this is the main street here in Namba, and there's this famous Dotonbori neon sign over there. So we're gonna head off down the street here, and this is already really cool, but I want to take you guys to more little hidden spots. So there's a very tiny little passage I want to find. See if we can actually find it along the street here. Now, something that's really common in this area is what's called nampa. And in Japan, that means basically picking up women on the street, throwing a line to a girl and, trying to get her number or something, right? So those guys were saying to those girls namabiru, which means should we have a beer? And you see this all over this bridge here over the Dotonbori River in Namba. There's tons of these Nampa guys all over the place. So that's a funny little thing that happens in this area. Let's keep going. Yeah, and I really like the view right here. I mean, it's simple but cool. The only thing is there's this big sign in the middle, which is a little bit distracting. Okay, it's nice and colorful. Maybe if we go past it. There we go. Yeah, that's gonna be better. Going past it here. And then, it makes me want to see if I can maybe figure out a way to, to get something more interesting about the scene. So I'm going to look for some reflections or something. So is this shiny? Yeah, well, it's okay. Maybe this thing here, this shiny thing here. Yeah, it's really nice. Okay. Yeah, this looks great. So, again, I've said this in many videos about when I use this camera, and that is that it's small, and because it's small, you can get it really close to flat surfaces like this, and that allows you to get really nice reflections. Maybe I get even a little bit behind, and I get this dude. So it's not a purely cityscape photo, but it's also a kind of street photo. But honestly, they're just not that interesting, unfortunately. So let's keep going. Keep going down there. Put my settings back once again, back to AV. So I tend to flip between aperture mode and manual. usually leaving ISO on auto. Although in that case, I did have ISO on manual too, just to get the exposure exactly how I wanted. Because the camera was getting a little confused with the reflection and the lights. The metering gets a little bit finicky with any camera. It's just the scenery is just tricky to expose for. I find that in general, the biggest challenge about shooting at night compared to daytime in an urban environment like this is getting the metering right. In the daytime, I find it much easier to get the metering just right because you have your highlights from the sun, you have your shadows, you just get it. But here it's like there's lights, there's some lights that are brighter than others, and there's the shadows down here. And you're trying to, the camera really doesn't know what you want. At least when I'm using evaluative metering, which is what I'm using, the evaluative one, or like segmented, different cameras call it different things. What does the RICOH call it? A multi-segment metering. And then I could use spot, some people use spot, but that I find is even more kind of finicky because you have to put the spot in just the right place, and that doesn't always work. So in a case where I need such a specific exposure, I just put it on manual. Anyway, here's this little alley we're gonna go to. Just before that, I wanna shoot the same thing on this bench one more time because it's a slightly different view. So back on manual. And yeah, that looks good too. Maybe this one I'll do vertical. Yeah, that's nice. Blue over sky. And then I have these red neon signs up there in the air. And they look really cool. I'm gonna move back just a little bit with the camera to get even a little more runway on the reflection here. Okay. Yeah, an f2.8. And I'm focusing with AF on the neons back there. Just something out in the distance. Yeah, it's good stuff. I'm kind of overshooting this scene, honestly. But let me just get like one or two more just to see if I can get like a perfect one. There's all these little things changing, the screens are changing, the lights are changing, the people are different. So with each shot, it's very small differences, but I'll notice them later, and I'm very picky about this stuff. So I'm just looking for like what I could say is a perfect or close to a perfect one. All right, I think I got one there that I'm pretty happy with. Really nice colors. Actually, even some interesting people passing by. Okay, I think we nailed it. Let's go on. So now we're gonna go into this little alley here, okay, which is really cool. One of my cute little hidden spots that I know in the area. And actually, it says right there, the name, it says Ukiyo Koji, which means, the first part, ukiyo means like floating world. And this is kind of an old idea from back in the day about like the world of partying and drinking and like all this kind of stuff. It's like a floating world where you're sort of lost in this universe of, decadent pleasantries, right, and enjoyment. And actually, if you ever heard of the wood block prints called ukiyo-e, well, that's the ukiyo. Ukiyo-e means ukiyo pictures from that kind of time, right, or that kind of lifestyle. And then koji just means little street. So it's the little floating world street. So now when you come in here, you realize it's nice and quiet. And there is this little floating world, these little scenes from old Osaka. This is the street we just walked on here, in Namba, and people hanging out. And then in this little floating world, little street, we have this little guy. And his name is Isunboshi. So he's this little character, little famous kind of legendary character. Apparently he was 3 centimeters tall, and he had this little boat, which was made out of a bowl, like a rice bowl. And he paddled down the Dotonbori River out there with a chopstick. That was his paddle. And so this is actually a little shrine, and you put 100 yen in there, and a little coin slot, and you can take a fortune and see if you have good luck or bad luck from Isunboshi. Something I like just in terms of photography is the way those, like around this hour and this dusk, the way the utility poles create these silhouettes. I know you probably see me in videos before shooting these, I'm a big fan of this. So I'm gonna shoot it now too. I'm gonna slow down my shutter to a 30th, put it on f4. Okay. And then I'm gonna raise the ISO a little bit to 800. Yeah, and these are, I admit, not the most interesting wires and such things. Maybe if I go a little more forward, this light is kind of annoying. So I'm gonna move forward a bit. Maybe a little bit lower. And then I'll try it again. Oh yeah, that's way better. Because now I can actually get some of the ground and some of this warm light reflecting on these bricks, these stones, and it contrasts nicely with the blue sky. And now we're gonna go this way. And just up ahead, there's a little temple. Okay? And this temple is quite famous for a number of things. We'll talk about that. Actually, already this little display of all these will look like Buddha or Bodhisattva. It's really cool. But what I really love about it, and wow, you can really smell the incense right away. That's a lovely smell. All right, but what I love about it is this atmosphere. So it's instantly interesting to shoot. Actually, this little bit of it is a shrine. Technically, this is a shrine, because you can tell because of these orange torii gates. It's very common in Japan for them to kind of mix and match. So like temples and shrines will be in the same place together. But the rest of this little space is a temple. Nice. All right. So yeah, so this temple is called Hozenji, actually. And it's famous for a particular statue, which we're going to check out here. It's a temple, so it's a Buddhist place of worship. And within it, there is a deity that they keep here, a statue of it. And he's called, I believe I might be butchering it, but it's Fudo Myo O. So it literally means the immovable Lord, shining Lord, or King, or something like that. And apparently, and I'm going to really simplify this, oversimplify this, but he's like Buddha's enforcer. So if you get out of line, you know, he whips you into shape with his big sword. He's got a sword and this fiery background behind him. So he's right here. And apparently the way that they worship here is there's this pot of water, okay, in the foreground here. And I actually feel kind of rude doing it, but I think it's okay. But the people who come here, they take the water and they throw it at him, right? So I'm going to try that. I'm going to take some. I'm going to do this in a very wimpy way, I know it. Oh, I missed. Okay, good enough. And then he would say a prayer to him, right? And maybe light a candle. But I'm going to get out of the way. There are other people praying. I don't want to disturb them. I totally missed it. Does that mean I'm going to be cursed with bad luck forever? I don't know. But it is a cool place to shoot. The only thing is it's very dark. So let's see what we can do with a very slow shutter and the shake reduction, of course, doing all the hard work here. Let me just see if I can find a cool composition, kind of from the outside here. So I don't want to be too far away. Just 2.8. Really slow shutter, like, let's try a half a second. Yeah, 0.5. Okay. Oh, and then these lights here on the outside. Dozo. So this lady's gonna pray. Oh, there we go. See, she threw the water. So I did the right thing. She threw the water at it. It's okay. All right. So yeah, I think it's gonna be very tricky. Not just because it's dark, but because there's these bright lights here on the side. So I'm going to get a little bit closer. Although that looks not bad, but we're going to get a little bit closer. Okay. And there we go. I won't get quite so low. The hardest part right here is actually focusing in this very dim light. And then a half second by hand. And it looks pretty sharp. Very good. Now, in Japanese, he's called Fudo-myo, right? He's this immovable lord. But according to the ancient texts of Vaikai-pedaya, he's also known as Akala in Sanskrit. So, for those of you who are, well-versed and fluent in Sanskrit, this is Akala. You probably already heard of him, so I don't need to tell you any more details. I'm going to go out back into the streets of Namba. Here's one of these famous Osaka things, this guy with the two deep fried sticks, right? Is it worth photographing? I don't know. I'm gonna. He's not that interesting, but he's an iconic local character. Actually, this brand of kushikatsu, as it's called, Daruma kushikatsu, is all over the place. Basically all kinds of stuff, vegetables and meats on a stick, and then they deep fry it. Pretty much the most unhealthy thing you can eat. So now I'm going to probably be on a TV, just to keep it on, or manual, whichever, just to keep it on 60th. because I don't need the speed. So we're gonna go back here. It's a cool little passage, very dark. Might not end up shooting anything, but I like to explore here. You can hear some karaoke in this little bar here. We'll keep going. Very cool atmosphere here. But nothing clear to shoot, unfortunately. No people hanging around. We go out this way, past this bar on the left. Alright, and there's another little passage back here, kind of similar. Although first I think I'm just going to shoot this scene here, very simple but beautifully lit scene. Okay. Here's the next little passage. Very busy out here. Lots of little bars and stuff. But it's very narrow, it's kind of hard to shoot there. Yeah, nothing stands out to me in terms of a shot. I was hoping one of these places was open, because then we could shoot it, you know, like this. Actually, it's still kind of a cool scene. I love this, this fluorescent light here is putting this green color cast on the whole scene. So again, I'm on a 60th and f2.8. And then auto ISO. Yeah, it's pretty sweet. If I get lower, I could remove some of the glare of that light. And then shoots a little more simple scene. Looks good. Let's go down this way. Yeah, this street it's a Tuesday, right? So I think on a Friday, Saturday, when I've been here before, on a different day of the week, it's a little bit more lively. Although those bars back there were fairly lively. Okay, let's go through here. I'm a big fan of all the wires and stuff above, but they're a little too dark to shoot tonight. So we could have gotten here a little earlier for those. And we're gonna go this way, and this space right here is really cool. Such a just gritty, dingy kind of cyberpunk space. All right, I love it. It's actually it's missing a subject. I mean, it would be cool to get some kind of action here, some kind of person, but it's still a nice atmosphere. I love the red combined with this silvery, these silvery, what do you call them? Like barriers here. Okay, let's go through. Down there are these famous old, in Japanese they call them kabakura. Yeah, so they're these cabaret clubs, so it's like, you know, like a burlesque show kind of place. And there's 3 of them over here that are really big and quite, you know, famous. I think the oldest one, Miss Osaka, dates back to the 1930s. So I don't know if it's the original building, probably not. But there was a cabaret club here. On the way there, I'm going to shoot this scene here. We'll just get people smoking. Kind of a cool scene. Keeping it on a 60th of a second. There's one guy who's like a particular silhouette in the scene. Do it as a vertical shot. Yeah, that's nice. That's pretty nice. I'm still keeping my shutter on a 60th because I'm not shooting stuff that's moving very fast. So I'm trying to keep my ISO as low as possible. And yeah, you can see those Kabakura places up ahead over here. And you can see how cool they're lit with these very large, like, not neon signs. I guess they're like just backlit fluorescent signs with different colors, but I don't know how the signs work. I guess it doesn't really matter, but I like them because of the cool colors that they have and how they change. They sort of gradually fade a little bit. So very cool atmosphere here. The tricky part will be how to shoot them with this wide angle lens because they're kind of far away, but I think we'll find some compositions that work. Actually, we're gonna head down there in a minute, but first I want to go down this side street because there's a really cool view here of another one of these signs. I can't quite read that. I guess it says Kiyo Bi Biru, like something beauty building, but we can get a cool view of this sign from up here. It's been here before once. Just gonna head up these stairs. Okay, nice. And then from here, it's very cool. There we go, so I can lean out, and it has a very nice feel to it because it feels like it's underground because of that roof. And then there's these dingy, walls and wires and stuff on the side. Very Blade Runner. Do it as a portrait shot as well. All right. We shoot it one more time from down here. I mean, why not? I said let's go up there, get that view, but this view is also really cool. So like I said, we'll go back out there. Put it back on the 60th, not too slow. And then we'll shoot those Kabukuras from closer. Maybe even a shot here is good though. Look at that. This guy waving back there, that was nice. There's a nice silhouette in the background. Yeah, that was actually pretty cool. That was lucky. That was lucky moment. Even from here. Oh, okay, I got an idea. That red neon sign we saw earlier. Earlier it felt kind of by itself. It was sort of uninteresting. Like it was cool, but it lacked context. But now, with all these pipes and stuff in the foreground, and this other bit of light. Ooh, that's a nice shot. I'm liking that. Let's see if I can move a little closer. Yeah. That's cool. Very Blade Runner now. That's what I love about this area. This area is just so old school, noir, cyberpunk. Okay, I like that shot. It's a kind of an odd composition, but I like it. Now I'm gonna put the shutter speed down to like a 20th, and I'm gonna put the aperture up to 5.6, keeping everything else the same. Maybe raise the ISO just a little bit. There we go. All right, nice. The reason I changed my aperture like that is because there are these electrical, boxes and stuff in the foreground, and I wanted to see if I get them sharp as well as the neon sign, and it seems like yes I can, or at least much sharper than when it was on 2.8, and that's really cool. Am I happy with that? I'm happy with that. Okay, I'll put my settings back to what I have, a 60th f2.8, and then auto ISO, so I don't have to think about it in case a cool opportunity appears. And then yeah, maybe another shot here. This is kind of cool. Maybe back to manual 800 ISO. There we go. So like I was saying, so these are these old, as they say in Japan, kabakura, cabaret clubs. Very famous around here. It's like a classy burlesque show. I don't think it's anything, it's not like a strip club or anything like that. It's just like a fancy place where, old school gentlemen like to hang out, drink with their buddies, and feel cool. So yeah, I like shooting around here. It's kind of a cool place. It's not really street photography. I find it very hard to include people in these scenes. It's just a cool scene. I'm gonna try one more, just like a whole street shot of everything here. Some people going by in the distance, getting with this taxi that's coming just before I get run over. All right. いいですか？お願いします。OK。ありがとう。かっこいい。All right, that was cool. I was hoping I could get a shot of him, and he just posed. This guy cleaning up. So that's a nice shot. I kind of like that. I don't like when people pose, but whatever. He was kind enough to pose, and I said, "Is it okay?" He said, "It's okay." So I'm happy with that shot. That's cute. All right. Well, I would say on that note, that's a good place to stop. A nice positive success right at the end here with some guy in the shop there. I've actually never eaten here. I kind of want to check it out because it's apparently really famous. It's usually jam-packed with people. I guess just because it's a Tuesday, there's nobody here, or not that many people here. But on like a Friday night, tons of people at this hormone place. All right, so guys, thank you so much for watching today. And if you have any questions or anything, comments, leave them below. I'll be sure to take a look and respond to them. And if you like the video, please like it, and of course subscribe to the channel so you can see more videos like this as we produce more and more. All right, so thank you so much for watching, and I'll catch you guys next time.